Fibs, furfies, porky pies.
Hey, Jack, did you eat a cupcake?
No matter what you call them, politicians just love a lie.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Frankly, we did win this war.
Have you ever lied in public life, Barnaby?
Probably.
No shame about that?
Recently, our Prime Minister has been accused of more than his fair share of fibs.
Oh, he's lied to me on many occasions.
You think he lied to you?
I don't think. I know.
Is he lying about lying?
Dear Laura, you are describing a pattern that I cannot judge.
Scott has always had a reputation for telling lies.
This is my leader.
There you go.
And I'm ambitious for him.
The PM insists he's true blue.
Prime Minister Scott Morrison, you ever told a lie in public life?
I don't believe I have, no.
But a new book claims otherwise, detailing 36 lies and falsehoods from Scott Morrison and his government.
He's not being truthful.
Among the PM's greatest hits,
Prime Minister, why was it racist to question Gladys Wu's connections to China, but it wasn't racist to call Sam Dastyari Shanghai Sam?
I didn't use either of those phrases.
It's about Shanghai, Sam.
and then there's the race that, well, you know.
It's not a race. It's not a competition. When Professor Murphy and I made those remarks, we were talking about the regulation of the vaccines.
Except while that may have been true the first time round, the catch cry continued long after the vaccines were approved.
It's not a race, not a race, not a race. It's not a race. It's not a competition. It's not a competition.
But perhaps the biggest doozy of all involves the PM's new love, electric cars.
I didn't ridicule that technology. It's not going to tow your trailer. It's not going to tow your boat. It's not going to get you out to your favourite camping spot with your family.
Ridicule aside, that statement was also false. At the time, some electric cars could travel up to 500 k's with towing capacity.
How can you honestly spruik electric vehicles when you campaigned against them in the last election?
But I didn't. That is just a Labor lie. I was against Bill Shorten's mandate policy.
Bonus fib, Labor's electric vehicle policy never actually included any mandates.
Very good.
So will claims the PM's struggles with the truth come back to bite him at the ballot box? Or is deception the new norm in this post-truth era?
That's what I believe to be true, and what are you suggesting?
Well, Crikey political editor Bernard Keane is the author of Lies and Falsehoods, the Morrison Government and the New Culture of Deceit, and he joins us now. Bernard, the opening line of your book reads, "The Prime Minister of Australia is a liar. Scott Morrison is a peddler of falsehoods and lies intended to deceive and mislead the public." That is a hell of an opening statement. Are you actively looking for a lawsuit?
Well, look, hopefully not. I think, well, as everyone in this room knows, you know, we've got some pretty litigant-friendly defamation laws in Australia, but and I reckon that's a reason why a lot of media outlets still shy away from using the L word about any politician. But we've tried to be pretty rigorous in this book. I mean, we've excluded a lot of the standard stuff that you get from politicians. Politicians are engaged in the business of misleading us, and we've tried to exclude most of the standard stuff that you expect from politicians about misrepresenting their opponents and their opponents' policies and telling us how great they themselves are. We've left all of that out, and we've only included stuff that's absolutely hard and fast, documented and sound. So, if we do end up in court, we're pretty confident that we could back our case.
Yeah, because we've heard examples of lies in the package we just played there, but saying someone is a liar and intends to deceive takes things a step further, doesn't it? What have you got to sort of back up that assertion?
Yeah, well, that's a really good question. And I think it's the sort of question that, for example, the New York Times really struggled with Donald Trump. Is he actively trying to deceive people, and does that justify us calling him a liar? If not, we're not going to use that particular word because it's so incendiary. But look, the key resource for this book is Scott Morrison's own website, where his team post all the transcripts of everything that he says, because uniquely among politicians, Scott Morrison doesn't tend to lie so much about his opponents and their policies. He tends to lie and tell falsehoods about things that he himself has said and done. So a statement that he made or a position that he held 3 weeks ago or 3 months ago or even 3 years ago, if it becomes inconvenient, he doesn't say, well, I was wrong back then, or I've changed my mind, or the facts have changed. He says, I didn't say it. He says, I never held that particular position.
Bernard, we are in a run-up to an election. Do you think these claims around the Prime Minister lying to Emmanuel Macron and about electric cars is actually going to hurt him with voters?
I don't think most Australians know who Emmanuel Macron is. So I don't think that sort of international stuff is going to matter a jot. Australians, like most electorates anywhere in the world, don't really care about foreign policy. It's not something that's on their radar. The electric vehicle stuff, I think, was a bit different because it was so blatant, and the clips from the 2019 election campaign were still pretty fresh. So that might resonate. But
so that's the stuff where he said, if you have an electric car, it steals your weekend.
You can't. It's not going to tow anything. It's not going to get you to your camping spot. I mean, those quotes were very, very crystal clear back in 2019. Now he's saying basically that he never campaigned or ridiculed electric vehicles. So that sort of thing, I think, does tend to resonate a bit more. But look, the iron rule of politics is voters vote on the economy, on jobs, on the health system. Whether someone with a propensity to lie can just have that completely ignored, I guess, is something we're going to discover. But the key drivers for votes are always those core issues. I think the question becomes, does the character and the credibility of the Prime Minister end up leading people to think, well, I can't trust this man on the economy, I can't trust this man on health, because I just don't believe him when he opens his mouth. And that's going to be, I think, the interesting issue between now and March or May or whenever we end up heading to the polls.
Depends how you frame it, I suppose. I mean, the Coalition ran a very successful campaign against Julia Gillard on the basis that she was a liar and had hounded her for 3 years and ultimately cost her the job, right?
Well, look, we come back to the point that lying is a staple of politics. I mean, remember the 2016 election campaign? Labor nearly won that campaign off the back of a lie, the Mediscare lie. Now, I think it would have been a bit of a travesty if Labor had won that election based on what was a pretty egregious lie, but, it just demonstrates that in election campaigns, which is, by the way, where we've got quite a few of Scott Morrison's lies back from 2019, in that heated atmosphere of election campaigns, a good lie can really take you a long way toward victory. So, I suspect we're going to be adding more and more to that dossier and probably be having to compile one for Labor as well.
Well, Lies and Falsehoods is out on Wednesday in all the places where you buy your good books. Thanks for your time, Bernard.
No worries. Good to talk.